All right, Matt, are you planning anything for Mother's Day?
Nicholas, nice to see you. Mother's Day, no. Oh,
It's coming up.
I need to think about my mom and my wife for my children. Even though I've
Hap-
always said she's not my mom, she's your mom to my children. Um, but my mom is still, we need to think about that. You're right. It's coming up
Absolutely.
quickly.
It's coming up soon, so let's plan on something. Like it's time. It's really good to make e-com purchase. Although I just saw a report from Amazon saying that 60% of all their shipping in urban areas are within a day. So they're increasing from last year from 50%. So you still have
So
time to purchase online. So,
you can
but
still do last minute shopping for Mother's
yeah,
Day
there
using
you go.
e-commerce. That's great.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is Nico with eStreamly, the company that gets you live stream and video commerce on your website and across social media, email, SMS, wherever you are. I'm so excited to be here. And today, my guest special, as usual, my good friend Matt from E6 Marketing, the company that gets you on QVC and HSN. How are you, Matt? Why don't you tell us what's the episode and the show is about today?
Nico, great to be with you, and thank you very much for tuning in. So this is called the Vcommerce podcast. It's a live podcast discussing today's big topics related to video commerce. Video commerce, of course, is the storytelling platform that was created 5 decades ago through DRTV and direct response television, went into HSN and QVC, and now has evolved into engaging direct response commerce through your television, computer, app, tablet, phone, wherever you want to shop. So at best, we'll teach you a few things and call out a couple of big stories that we saw for the last week. And at worst, we'll entertain you a little bit with some funny anecdotes and stories, and hopefully you take something away from this show. So thank you very much for being a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be frank with you, I don't think there was a lot to talk about in the VCom space. There was a couple interesting things, but it was not like last week where everything was floating like together, right?
Right. And we're going to get into it, but we kind of mentioned it last week how, with the conversation with TikTok and what will happen, and we specifically talk about TikTok Shop, will other creators and other apps pop up into the video commerce space? And we'll get into that on this show today. But I wanted to start with something I read in your newsletter this morning: Instagram prioritizing original content and kind of disallowing I call it the cut and paste format. So, Nico, what do you think this means for the creators that work through Instagram and having their material or having their content copied?
Yeah, so I think what Instagram has been doing is, and I'm sure you've seen that on Instagram particularly, is there's a lot of those aggregator accounts. So they will take a piece of content that you as a creator you've been producing, and then they upload them under their own account. Sometimes they source it, and sometimes they don't. But the whole thing is like basically you're creating content, and then some of that credit goes to that other handle. And so the challenge is that, as a maybe if you're like a smaller creator, you end up not having all the view that you should be deserving in some way if you were to have been producing that content. On the other side, those aggregators are generating tons of viewership. And, if you're someone lazy like me, maybe I will follow a couple of those aggregator accounts to see what's going on in the landscape of video altogether, because they will, take bunch of things that they see everywhere and then put it on their umbrella. So with that new update on the algorithm, Instagram is really cracking down on those aggregator accounts to make sure that each and every creator kind of own content that they're producing. I think it's pretty good. It's a good thing for them to do. What's interesting also, we were talking about the TikTokization of everything in some way. And this is one of those things where, because TikTok has been doing that for a while already, that was one of the concerns that creator had, and that was preventing them to also grow and be discovered by having their own moment of virality, or like pushing their content and having more views on it. So I think it's interesting. I'm very excited for this for the smaller creator. The big creator, they're already there. They already made it. But I think it will have a big difference for the smaller creators.
And I wonder about trends. Like, isn't TikTok about, the TikTok world's about trends? And I've seen this one dance on TikTok like for the last month, and everyone seems to be doing it. All different. It's a third-person dance thing, and like all types of different men and women are doing that particular dance. So trending dynamics in social media is a big part of social media. So I'm interested to see like how far this goes. Of course, if I'm the original content creator, am I flattered by everyone copying what I posted, and am I getting a million views on that one video, or do I feel that it's my own little thing, and I don't want people to copy it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if the aggregator source your content quite well, and you have a way to actually, for user that love this content, to actually being pushed to you, and now they start to follow you, I think it has some value, that being an aggregator. But if they're just like taking the content, put it out there, and then there's no way to track it back to you, that's really shameful in some way. So
Right.
For the listeners that are listening to this podcast and not viewing, I just want to put a disclaimer here. Matt was not doing the dance when we were talking about.
No, I was not.
All right. The other news that I found, and talking about TikTokization of the platform, one of the things that I found quite interesting is Twitch launching short form clips. So again, it's this notion of like, okay, Twitch is the long form live stream platform where people are able to stream for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, sometimes even more, and they are introducing clipping. And so the idea of like, you can take your content, clipping it out, and now serving that as short form for your viewers, so people can watch the short clips of your content. This has been something that creators were doing anyway. They were creating and clipping, and as a matter of fact, if you're a Twitch streamer, like a pretty notorious Twitch streamer, I was on a conference last week about the creator economy, and everyone was talking about this idea of like taking your content, clipping it out, posting it on the socials, so people drive traffic back to your Twitch if they really like what you are producing. So this has been something that people are doing, but now the Twitch ecosystem will also have its own short form, like YouTube has, like obviously TikTok. It's interesting to see that. Obviously, you will think Twitch being owned by Amazon is the next step around commerce, and that is another story and question that we'll have to ask. My understanding to this, personally, having talked to other people, especially brands that have been streaming on Twitch, it's a very different customer, and it's not easy to sell on Twitch for non-gaming communities. So that has been the it's even actually harder to find like non-gamer on Twitch. So that's one of the downside of Twitch, and Amazon has been doing some testing and didn't go through, but I found it very interesting.
Well, Amazon Live, Amazon Live is now on Fast TV. We talked about that, free ad supported television. They jumped into that space. So there's value in video commerce, as we both obviously know, and the whole conversation we had last week, the big news of last week about TikTok and possibly going away, and then TikTok Shop going away. So it's not a surprise, and I'm positive we referenced this last week. What other apps will jump into the live streaming space that aren't already there? So Twitch jumped, trying to put their foot in there, trying to figure out if it works for them. It's not surprising. And then again, what I saw from your newsletter, the LTK Creator Commerce is also updating their shopping experience. So this makes complete sense to me. Like, everyone's trying to push themselves into a position to be ready if TikTok Shop goes away, or just getting into the position to offer live streaming, live selling, video selling, because the platform works.
Yeah, absolutely. And LTK is interesting as well. So this is this platform where people can tag product directly on Instagram, most likely. And then they can have a link that directs you to a shopping experience that is on your LinkedIn bio, I think, if I'm correct, and if I remember that properly. But now they are adding a full layer of videos, so you can upload the creator can upload their video and make them shoppable, like short form video, shoppable form for video. what it does say is that video is going to, I mean, it's the media that people recognize to be the next thing when it comes to commerce, which is good, right? We've been talking about this for years, so this is pretty
Yeah.
exciting. So
It's just the next evolution, as we know, of storytelling. If you want to be a really true storyteller, video has to be a component to it, which goes into like my last thought, something that we had talked about probably when we first met, just the idea of being organized and going into your live stream with a kind of a game plan. Two things I wanted to mention to you, which came up in my world twice while I was coaching content creators and, basically on air guests or on air people for QVC, was being authenticity and going in with the idea of the why now. So the authenticity being be true to yourself, and tell your story, because part of being true to yourself is truly the best part of the storytelling dynamic, and people are engaged with you if you're authentic. And the more authentic you can be, the more yourself you can be. I think the more success you will have. So I talked to two people about exactly that, like tell your personal story. And what we do when we do that, we call it like brand video or B-roll. When the guest, he or she, tells their personal story, what's special about their brand, we often run a little B-roll clip, 20 seconds, 25 seconds, shows the store, shows the dynamic of making the product, all that kind of thing. I don't know how, depending on what application you're using, if that's even a possibility, but it reinforces through video of who you are and why you are selling this product, which is great. And then the other thing being the why now. To me, the why now, it's sometimes overlooked because people worry about so many things they want to say in their live stream, and they want to sell the product properly and they want to engage properly. They forget what the customer is going through in that moment. So right now we're in early May. What is she going through? We talked about Mother's Day. Mother's Day is coming up. If your product is a giftable that could be for a mom, then that's the why now. Because in our world, you want the customer to order the product in that moment. So it's an impulse purchase. So you have to give her reasons to stay with you and reasons to make the purchase. So the authenticity and the why now have really been two things that have been in my conscious over the last couple of weeks.
yeah, I love you saying that. The other thing that I would love to bring up is it's also very important to explain to your viewer how do they shop, right? And you can have the best technology on earth or the best system on earth to make it happen. If you don't tell your viewer and you don't guide them on how they can actually make that purchase, it is something that I think it's super important because it's often forgotten. But I think it's part of the pitch process that you're doing. You have to educate them on the why now, on the why you should buy now, but they also how you actually should buy, because it's not everyone think the same. Like we were doing a stream, we just roll out a new feature at Extremely where you have the ability when you're on Instagram to comment something, like hashtag something, and that video becomes shoppable, gets directly on your DM. Interestingly, one of our competitors I just made a press release yesterday or something like that saying that they're going to start enabling video commerce on Instagram, and that's something we have been already doing for a couple weeks and months already. So it's funny, it's like it all depends, like your budget for communication and all that. But I think it's interesting is this notion of it's not because you are giving the technology, like this ability to get on the DM is really a fantastic opportunity. But what we found out during this actual live yesterday was like the person has to hashtag blank holiday, and then you had people misspelling blank holiday, or they were putting space, they were forgetting about putting the hashtag, and so we're saying, oh, it doesn't work, right? But it's really important to reinforce, like, okay, what is the correct trigger, and how do you actually make that trigger? Because a machine is a machine. You can't. It's not that it's not working. It's like you just have to have the right input. And so, what can you do, and how do? And so, the importance of explaining to your viewer how do we shop is super important. And it's even if you have like in native app, like if you go on TikTok, the most successful streamers, they will always tell you, by showing the phone. You do this, you do that, you do this. That's gonna how this is gonna happen. This is they set expectations, so the user on the other side doesn't have to question himself. If I click on that button, is the phone gonna blow up, or how do I know this and that? They can actually have someone explaining and walking them through. Very important thing to do as well.
Well, what you're saying is, to me, it's like it's the last mile. It's the last mile of the journey. You want the customer to order the product. So how do they order the product? What's the process of them ordering the product, and educating them on that? I mean, I like I said, at QVC, telling them they're watching QVC. Welcome back to QVC. We're a home shopping network, reiterating the QVC dynamic. We're here with a brand, and this is the brand story. Then the brand tells their story, like re-engaging her all the time. You always have to think that the consumer has never seen your show and never heard of your brand. You always have to do that. When we open our show here, we always reposition who we are, because we were always having new viewers or new listeners tune in. It's so important. But then the last part of the puzzle, or the last mile of the journey, is how do you order the product? And the simplest thing in your mind, because you've been doing this for so long, you would make assumptions that everyone knows how to order the product. It's not true. You always want to reiterate all the basics, so she has, or he has, the best experience ordering your product that they can. I completely agree.
Absolutely. Well, fantastic, Matt. Any special shout out for you for this week, or?
Nothing from me. I'm excited about a wedding we're going to this weekend. Should be fun. The weather's going to be great here on the East Coast, so hopefully everyone can get outside. Finally, that cold snap, or the cold stretch is over, I'm hoping, and spring has sprung officially through the weather. So hopefully everyone has a great weekend and gets outside.
Wow, fantastic. And this is going to be a short one for today, so perfect. Thank you, everyone, for being here. As usual, we are here every Friday on the different social, X, LinkedIn, and as well as Facebook. And we are reposting this on YouTube and as well on the live e-commerce podcast. If you have any question for us, feel free to DM us and chat with us. This is Nicholas with Extremely and Matt with E6 Marketing. You can find us on social as well. We are here for you, and we would love to hear your feedback and see how you like the show. If you like the show, actually, what will be amazing if you can actually just share or eventually put a review on the show. That's always something that we will appreciate. Thank you for being here. We will be here next Friday, and we have some really cool episode coming up on Tuesday as well. So stay tuned on that as well. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Okay, bye.